Picture this: an employee decides they want to sneak a massive batch of corporate data out of your network. They don't use a USB drive or a sketchy file sharing site. They simply open a browser tab, log into their personal Microsoft 365 tenant or an external vendor account, and drop the files right into OneDrive. To your network firewall, it looks like normal, encrypted, whitelisted outbound Microsoft traffic. Total stealth. Today on Identity Digest, we are building a zero cost, infrastructure hardened lab right from home to lock down this exact data exfiltration loophole using Tenant Restrictions v2. We're going to look at the exact server side settings in Entra ID, the client side group policy overrides, and I'm going to show you a massive browser loophole that completely bypassed my own policy during testing and exactly how to fix it. Tenant Restrictions 5.2 works by forcing your managed devices to inject a tracking signature, specifically the SecRestrict tenant access policy header, every time they hit a Microsoft authentication endpoint. When Microsoft receives it, they evaluate it against your corporate boundary rules. If the identity trying to log in doesn't belong to an approved ecosystem, Entra drops the hammer. Enterprise environments usually deploy expensive proxy servers or SSE agents to inject this header. But today, we're doing this entirely via the native Windows local policy engine. Let's jump in. Step 1 happens in the cloud. Log in to your Entra portal and go to Identity External Identities, Cross-Tenant Access Settings. Click over to your Default Settings tab and open Tenant Restrictions. Under both the External Users and Applications tabs, switch the default behavior from Inherited to Block Access for everyone. Before you hit Save, look right at the top of this panel. You need to copy two strings, your corporate tenant ID and this uniquely generated policy ID GUID. Keep these handy because our local machines need them next. Now let's switch to our managed Windows test machine. While you can manually hack this into the registry paths, the Microsoft Edge engine frequently ignores raw unmanaged registry keys. To ensure the browser actually hooks into the policy, we need to use the formal administrative templates. Drill down into Computer Configuration Administrative Templates, Windows Components, Tenant Restrictions. Double-click the policy name, Cloud Policy Details. Flip that radio button to Enabled, and down in the Options fields, paste your tenant ID and your policy GUID exactly as they appeared in the portal. Click Apply and OK. Pop open an administrative command prompt and run gpupdate/force to compile those local administrative hooks right into the OS network stack. Now here is where things got interesting during my lab run. I opened up Google Chrome, went to log into an external tenant, and it logged right in. The policy completely failed to execute. Why? Because native Windows tenant restrictions hook directly into the Windows OS network stack. Microsoft Edge, native Teams, and OneDrive will obey this registry flag perfectly. But third-party browsers like Chrome or Firefox use their own cross-platform network handlers. They completely ignore the local OS configuration. To close this loophole in production, you either have to push dedicated Chrome Enterprise Registry templates, drop an AppLocker policy banning non-corporate browsers, or use the modern route Entra Global Secure Access Client Agents. But watch what happens when we run this verification test inside the container it was designed for, Microsoft Edge. Boom! Look at that screen, access is blocked. Notice the explicit custom branding text right there. The IT department has restricted which organizations can be accessed. This confirms our local machine successfully injected our corporate headers, Entra ID, verified our policy boundary, and the identity perimeter dropped a hard block before a malicious insider could even spin up a session token to exfiltrate data. And there you have it, a fully functional, zero-cost tenant restrictions V2 lab demonstrating true edge boundary defense. If you want the step-by-step layout or want to see the audit evidence generated in the Entra Cross-Tenant sign-in logs, go check out the full technical write-up over on my blog at f11.ca. If this deep dive helped you understand identity boundaries a bit better, smash that like button, drop your lab feedback in the comments, and subscribe to Identity Digest. I'll catch you in the next lab.